Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal.
I'm Mark.
I'm Zoe.
We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom. We share inspiration, we share struggles, we brainstorm solutions. We would love to have you join us. Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. This is Crystal.
This is Mark.
This is John.
This is Zoe.
And we're here in my living room.
That
Yay.
was kind of like our 90s pop band intro.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Are we going to
Okay.
four-part harmony
I
right
would
now?
sing some pop song, but I'm not sure about copyright laws, so I won't sing anything pop. But
We're
there's
gonna
90s pop in
Oh,
my head
so
right
many
now.
good options.
Bop is what I got in my head.
Bop.
Oh, yes. So welcome back. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about starting music programs from nothing, because all of us entered our current teaching situations creating something out of nothing. And I know that this is not my first rodeo creating a music program where there was none previously. I think most people that started teaching about the same time that we did, that's just what you walk into down here in Southern California. The 1970s and 80s saw most music programs cut because of budget changes in public education, and just little by little watched music and art programs kind of vanish. But they're trying to make a comeback. They're making a huge comeback in a big way in Chula Vista, and we've talked about that. So I know when we had Lauren come talk to us back in the Prelude episode, she talked about how there had not been a VAPA coordinator in her current position in the district in over 30 years.
Goodness gracious.
I know. So she walked in to make something exist where nothing had before. And whereas other districts have like 10 people doing the job that she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that we can sometimes feel that way too, though, whereas other states or other parts of the country, you might have a team of music teachers to teach the number of kids that we do. We're the one at the site.
Right.
So I just want to hear from you guys. Why don't we start with first impressions of walking into a school to make something from scratch? Mark?
My first impression was, what am I doing here? This was a mistake.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't start in the a traditional music teacher classroom. I started this pilot program through the San Diego Youth Symphony, where I was teaching trumpet and trombone in an after-school music program. So my boss at the time was like, "Hey, do you want to teach general music to third grade?" And I was like, "Okay." Well, I've never taught third grade or elementary before, and I don't remember anything from elementary music in my music education degree. But that's for different reasons. So I walked in, and this classroom just had nothing. They were like, "Yeah, this used to be the computer lab, but it's no longer the computer lab." So there were some desks and chairs, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And fortunately, that's the same classroom that I'm in today, and it looks quite a bit different.
Yeah, it does.
So on day one, I had put some tape down and on four corners, and I made a music box, and I thought I was so clever. And I was like, all right, the kids will sit in the music box. And then I had welcome to music on the front board, and I had a couple of signs of rules of be nice, don't be mean.
Okay, question.
Be nice.
Did we all start off with tape? I feel like I started with tape, yes, and created this box, essentially. It wasn't called music box.
You're not as creative as I am,
is
but you're
very
cute.
I apologize.
That's okay.
But no, I also had tape. I used duct tape, and then my custodians were a little disappointed in that.
Oh, I
because
used
of the
masking
heat.
tape.
Yeah, it was a smarter choice. Regardless what kind of tape you have, you always have kids who just stab it. People just love
No,
stabbing.
I wouldn't let them go near the tape. I would tell them you have to be in the center of the music box or in the front, or front and center. And so, yeah, I was absolutely terrified. And it probably wasn't until year two, halfway through year two, I'm like, okay, I have a grasp on this.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
John?
My situation was different. So initially, I said in an earlier episode, I was initially aiming for high school, and then I was convinced, it sounds negative, but at the time it felt negative, convinced to join elementary school. I'm glad I joined it. But I was similar situation. What am I going to do with this? What's going on? Fortunately, before my first class, I met with Michael Gray, who used to teach down in Chula Vista as well, and he recommended the Fire Robin program, First Steps in Music. And that saved me so much because I had, same with you guys, nothing. I think we had some boom whackers in a shed, and no one knows why that was there. But there was boom whackers in the shed. We
There
used
always are boom whackers in the shed somewhere.
somewhere. But most of my curriculum was based off of singing and based off of movement as opposed to having instruments, and that saved me
Yep.
Yeah.
big time. But similar situation, tape, and also I use tape as well as for spots as well.
Okay.
I evolved using sit spots later, but
Just real quick, I played like trumpet's my instrument,
Sure.
and that's what I grew up in band. I didn't really sing, and so it took me a long while to like really be confident to sing in front of my class. So we didn't do a ton of
Wow.
singing. Like,
Wow.
it was terrifying for me to sing, and so I'm jealous that you at least you could fall back on singing when you were like, I don't know what I'm doing, so we'll sing.
Fair
Like,
enough.
We didn't have that in my schools because their teacher didn't like to sing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had that experience too, where I was just like very uncomfortable singing. I did my student teaching with Lori, and she's our friend now. But she had the same hello song for her kindergartners, and just like G and C7, and I practiced it so much the night before I had to take over one of her lessons, and I still was like just like couldn't get it out. I was just so nervous.
Wow.
They're just little kindergartners, it's just terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinder's a terrifying age, so
I love them.
I love them
I
now.
love them.
Yeah, they're the best now.
They're so little.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How did I start? I'm trying to
you
remember.
just jumped in. We were talking about singing. We were talking about like.
I remember you talking about the reporter who came to like
Oh yeah.
watch you
that's
on your
true.
car.
Snow yeah,
like,
yeah.
bring in music to the school that hadn't had it before.
Right. Yeah. And I was teaching in general music class, or no, not general music. Yeah, just general ed classes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we were
wow.
like moving tables.
Yeah. Okay.
If we had to, because I did want to do like some circle games. That's what I had seen in general music lessons, and then it was just like a lot of work. Like carting around and then moving everything and then moving it back in the span of 30 minutes.
So you had a little bit of training
yeah.
watching Lori. How much training did you guys have when you entered your first classroom? How much training did you have for specifically elementary?
what I
Well-
learned in college or didn't learn in college because I goofed off. My best friend was in the class, well, a group of us,
Group of us.
and we weren't very good students.
Okay, now I'm just going to not say group of us anymore. I'm going to walk away from that.
I taught Mommy and Me for a
Okay.
number of years.
What is
so that's where it was the only job I could get for a long time. It's where mommies bring their babies in, and it's a group class. So but it was little like 6 months to 2-year-olds, and so we would sing and we do everything with the babies together. And it was actually Orphan Kodai based. So I didn't know that at the time. I
yeah.
learned a little bit about it, but I still didn't fully understand the ORF process or anything like that. We had ORF instruments, and we used some of the things from Levels courses. And I think the person who created the program that we were using was an ORF certified teacher. So I had that to fall back on with my little kids, but I was definitely all about like performances and very secondary sort of a mindset.
Sure.
My first school was a private school, and I was on a cart, and I was in all the general classrooms as well. And their whole focus was, we're going to put on a big winter show and we're going to put on a big spring show. And it was a Christmas pageant. So like that, we just focused on that. I taught singing. I'm a singer, so that's what we defaulted to.
Must be
And with that,
Nothing. Must be nice.
Avoid this guy right here.
but hearing you guys say that that tells me the importance of what we're doing even more. So like making it normal to sing,
Yeah.
because
Right.
No, definitely.
humans need to sing, and now all of us love to sing together.
That's true.
Yeah, it makes us so happy when we're in our music teacher meetings and we're singing together.
Yep.
It feels good. So we're doing a round of the week.
Yes, it
That's
does.
one thing that John Feyerabend talks about, is that the goal for his program isn't to make them musicians, but it's more so that when they grow up, they can sing to their kid.
Yep, the 30-year plan. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, and I think all the time about how I grew up singing in church, and that was just a normal thing.
Yep.
And I got to do it every single week, but that's not a normal experience for a lot of people anymore. that communal singing, and it's important. That's why we've made it such a big deal to sing every morning on the blacktop at our school. We start out every day singing 2 songs as an entire community, because my principal, believed me when I told her about the community building, team building spirit of group singing. So yeah, when I entered the classrooms that I have now at Finney and Juarez Lincoln, there was nothing. We dug through all the old closets. I found a box of old Christmas decorations that had bells on it, and I clipped all the bells off. And
Wow.
that was what we had for a while. And IKEA cups, and I had a whole curriculum that I bought on Teachers Pay Teachers that uses like cups to teach quarter notes and half notes and
cool.
whole notes, and got the kids composing a little bit. So
What is the strangest thing you have used to create music? Because I remember the first episode we talked about how, and also right now, you used random objects just to make things work. What is the strangest one? I'm curious.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe my yodeling pickle.
Yodeling pickle. You have it. Awesome.
Yodeling. I don't know. It just keeps going.
Oh my goodness.
What?
So what did you do with that thing? Did you just copy it? Like,
Oh, whenever the kids do anything good, I pull it out.
okay.
Yeah, but also we do sing back to it. Yodeling it's very good vocal warm up.
It's true.
Does it have eyes?
It doesn't have eyes. It's
Does that have a
just
mouth?
a pickle
That's a better question.
with
Does it
a
have a mouth?
button and a speaker.
Mark, how about you? What was like the weirdest thing you've used? Have you ever used unconventional stuff?
No, not really.
Then you're not a music teacher.
No, I'm not a music teacher.
No, I'm sure you
That's
have.
rude.
Buckets.
I mean, yeah, I use Home Depot buckets. I've used cups before. We did a team building exercise that wasn't musical, but we got I attached rubber bands, and so it was 4 rubber bands. 3 were attached and were like handles, and kids had to work together to build a tower out of cups.
Okay.
And this was early on when kids would just not want to work together in my classroom, where it'd be, all right, can you find a partner? And just absolute chaos ensued. And just like, what is happening? You can't find someone that you want to work with. And so I used one of my lessons. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this as like a team building activity. Not musical, but they needed it. The kids needed to accomplish something working together. So cups and rubber bands, I guess, would be, what I've used.
Cups and rubber bands, they work.
Wine
Did you
glasses.
have something? Oh, wine glasses.
Yeah, but
Scandalous.
My first year. No, there's a story. Mild story. There's a story nonetheless.
What were they filled with, John?
They were filled with water. I'm not Jesus either, so it was just water. But no, my school has choirs in my grade 3-4 choir, which I eventually absolved and just did upper grade, lower grade. But we had the grade 3-4 choir. It was hard to work with them, so we decided, since our numbers are so small, we're just gonna try and do some percussion stuff and pull out some wine glasses as well. I tuned up the wine glass to make sure it worked. And then, I walked out, because I had to move classrooms the next year, and I walked out with the wine glasses. My 3rd grade teacher joked, John, you are not allowed. That's not allowed.
Yeah. My memory is finally jogging, however many minutes after we've started. But, yeah, I do remember, because, no prior music at my first school, no music room, no instruments when I got there. And, the principal had no input either on what I should teach. And so, it was both, total freedom and also, what do I teach? So I remember just, opening up my my laptop and from the days of iTunes. I know, John, you don't subscribe to that, but
What?
You do iTunes?
I sometimes do.
Sometimes, okay.
I mean,
sorry.
I'm more
I didn't mean
iTunes
to
than
put you in a
Apple.
box. Sorry. You can bring
a
out
music
a box.
You would have been a music box in my class.
And I just was like, okay, what is my what song would I want to share? And so that's what I ended up doing for my first week of lessons with almost all my grades. I chose one of my favorite songs by Ebo Taylor. If you don't know who Ebo Taylor is, gotta look him up. He's from Ghana. Amazing trumpet lines and just like upbeat. Like you can't help.
Nice.
And like the kids were like, I love this. Write it down. I need a pen. I need to write it down. And we did Shea Kule, which is like a children's game from Ghana. And
Nice.
I was like, okay, I got one. I've got one lesson.
So how long did it take before you guys saw actual instruments in your classrooms?
Excluding the boomwhackers from the
Yeah,
shed.
excluding the boomwhackers in the shed.
Well, I had convinced my PTA to have them fund recorders.
Okay.
Later on, I've discovered, you know what, like having the kids purchase that would be a good idea. But the PTA was gracious enough to fund recorders. That wasn't until like quarter two, so like around December.
Okay.
So half the year was nothing.
Yeah.
Except for voices and random things I found in the the
Closet.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Like wine glasses. But they're for other reasons.
Yeah.
I bought those. Excuse me. Thank you.
I think I was fortunate enough to get some boom whackers and some rhythm sticks and eventually some recorders during that 10-week like pilot program that I taught.
Okay.
But that was through the organization that I was working for with the San Diego Youth Symphony. So they were able to provide those instruments. And then I was super fortunate because that 10-week program led me to being in my current position now because my principal liked me so much and she wanted to keep me. And I think part of her deal was they purchased an instrument package. So my first official like year teaching from the very beginning, I had a very small ORF package. So I had rhythm sticks, unpitched percussion. I had about 5 barred instruments.
Yeah.
So
It was the one that Lauren put together with Judy Pine from West Music.
Thanks, Judy.
We love you,
Thank
Judy.
you, Judy.
very much. So I had that kind of going into my first year teaching, but that 10-week pilot program, it was a few weeks where I'd gone into it and was like, hey, I don't know what to do with these kids. Can I get some help? And they're like, yeah, here's a couple of things. I'm like, all right, we'll figure out what to do with boom whackers. Put them in a storage closet.
Yeah. I pull them out a couple times a year,
love
but they're
boom
not my
whackers.
faves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love them.
Do you?
I do. I love them because when you do something with them, it makes all the kids focus on their part and they're responsible
That's
for
true.
it.
That's true.
So that's how I do.
That's true. There's pros for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just lets them hit something.
This is true.
Sometimes they need to do that.
They
As
need
long
to.
as they don't hit each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or bend them. It's like, especially
Yeah.
the big boom whackers.
Yeah, the basses.
Oh, I don't have those. Not yet. I have the octavators, but no bass.
fair enough.
No bass boom whackers.
Well, they're not worth it because they break in half way
This
too
is true.
fast. It took me until January to get the ORF package that Judy put together for the district. So I taught for the first 6 months.
Oof.
With nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when you presented at our ORF workshop and you did, what was it? It might have been Ecce Gratum and you had some like little streamers that you had made.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, where did you get these? And you're like, I made them.
I made them. Yeah, I went to the dollar store. The dollar store has, bracelets and I just cut dollar store party tablecloths into strips, those plastic tablecloths, and they make some pretty great streamers. Necessity is the mother of invention for sure.
So back in college, I remember I had this percussion teacher. He said, in order to be a percussionist, you need to be a handy person. I feel like the same applies for an elementary music teacher.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pat Piffner.
Yeah.
Good old Mr.
Yeah.
Piffner.
Yeah, but no, like in order to do stuff, you gotta be good with your hands because you have to be on the spot and make things. That's cool.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so all of us have had to be pretty tenacious with actually going out and finding instruments. We're all VH1 Save the Music grantee schools, which is awesome.
Yes.
We all have band and orchestra programs that have instruments provided by VH1. But outside of VH1, how have you found instruments, guys?
DonorsChoose has been huge. So I was at 2 schools, and the school I'm no longer at, while I was there, I DonorsChoosed a ukulele classroom set of ukuleles, and that was magical and super life-saving. And so I used that for a while with my tenure there. And recently I invested in a handbell set, and so it's a full octave of handbells, and then plus the high octave, the low octave, and then the chromatic notes. And I use that a lot with my younger kids and my SDC kids. And so we do some play-alongs, and everyone has their bell and their color,
cool.
similar to boomwhackers. But with these particular bells, you can just push the top and they ring.
Yes.
So you don't actually have to like hold it. And so
Okay,
it's a little easier
cool.
for those students who have difficulty holding on to things. And then my school is partnered with an organization called Turnaround Arts. And through that partnership, I've been able to apply for some grants. And so I've used grants to also build my instrumentarium.
Okay. Okay.
Similar to Mark, we have a whole class of ukuleles, and again, I'm grateful for my parent committee at my school site, because they're the ones who funded it. They understand the importance of music. So they funded 30 ukuleles.
That's awesome.
It is, and I'm again gracious. We also, it took me about this past year, because this is the final day. This past year is we finally got Orff instruments.
Yes.
And so
Cool.
that's been a big part of my program as well. So it's been a mixture of, I focus mostly on singing because that's my comfort food, I guess. But yeah, Orff instruments, ooks, and of course I still use recorders.
Piece by piece.
Piece by piece,
Yeah.
yes. And also I kind of how I convinced the PTA to fund the ukuleles is because we have recorders, and that's a good segue towards wind and blowing into a wind instrument. And we also have percussion instruments, perfect for going into the professional percussion, quote unquote, if you didn't see that. But there wasn't any sort of segue into professional, quote unquote, strings. So ukuleles was the perfect way to do that.
There you go.
That's cool.
I like it.
Nice. Yeah, I rely pretty heavily on partnerships with other nonprofits, so like VH1, and then San Diego Youth Symphony has Orff instruments that I've been using, and then also the Piano Project was able to bring us some pianos, upright pianos.
Plural?
I asked. They were there to just come meet us, and because Rosebank was the first school that they donated to in our district, and I was like, we have this little stage, and down the line I see some of our students playing the piano, but we don't have a piano on the stage either. And I was like, could you give us two? And they were like, oh yeah, why not?
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Have you
really
utilized that for like a spring music or whatever concert?
Yeah, so we had recently an art show at our school, and we had a student who recently started taking piano lessons and has really taken off with composing.
That's
So
great.
yeah, he composed a bunch of pieces this year, and he played like a 7-minute piece for.
Nice.
I love
really
that.
cool.
That's
Yeah, it
awesome.
was really cool. It was
So
great
good.
to highlight him.
Yeah, that is cool. So we got the district package my first year for each school site. So we also acquired that about 6 months in. DonorsChoose has been a lifesaver, and Lowe's Coronado, which is a big fancy resort on Coronado, has funded a bunch of our DonorsChoose
Wow.
grants for the district, and I've been so grateful for that. So shout out to them. Piano Project is a nonprofit in San Diego that rehomes unused living room pianos into schools, and they have donated to all of our schools, which has been really key. But then some other things that I've been able to do besides begging PTA, and which thanks guys, they've helped out. I go on Craigslist regularly, and I make a plea, and I say instruments needed for Title I school, and then I just kind of like write a little bit of the story, and I've gotten the coolest, weirdest instruments out of that one. Like,
That's a super good idea.
yeah. Well, because especially in the springtime, like when people are cleaning out their garages, like I get weird stuff. Like I got a couple of gourds that are covered in beads, and I got some 1930s xylophones that are really cool. They come in suitcases. I got some tone bells, like a really nice set of tone bells. So and a guitar. I was gifted a guitar and a violin, a student violin.
Any
Yeah.
auto harps?
No auto harps. Still waiting for one of those.
Not yet.
I would love to have an auto harp.
If you want
That's been a really good one.
nothing. We'll talk afterwards.
Okay. But anyway, Craigslist has been a really good resource for that. And also we have a couple of neighborhood groups in San Diego called Buy Nothing. And they're for the different areas. Like we have one out here in Allied Gardens. There's one in North Park. So I'll post on Buy Nothing. And that's nice too, because I can put a picture of the music room up and say, hey, we need help. So I find people are willing to help. And then businesses, if I'm specific, like Home Depot, gifted us a set of buckets for bucket drumming. You can't be afraid to ask, I guess. I think a lot of times people are afraid to ask because they're afraid the answer is going to be no, but it's like, well, so what if it's a no? Then you just ask somebody else.
They just don't want to help children.
I know,
so it's
right?
their deal.
Yeah.
And also focusing on like, this is for the kids. Like if you feel like this is embarrassing, okay. So at least I'm doing this for the kids.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And people like to take ownership of their own community too. And so if you can go to local neighborhoods around your school and be like, look, these are kids in your neighborhood. We'd love to give you a shout out in our program. We're doing some really cool stuff and people want in on that. So I just wanted the whole idea of this episode to be like, it's possible to create something from nothing. We all did it. We all taught for multiple months at a time with no materials, just with our own voices and our own knowledge. And maybe we had to do a little bit of reaching and figuring out in there for a while, but we still all have really happy, thriving programs and really happy, thriving kids.
One thing that was big, even though getting the instruments was great, being amongst this community in Chula Vista was super helpful. And I know that this is not the case for a lot of people, but being surrounded by a community of musicians, be it locally or just being it via internet, so that you can push yourself and understand what they're doing so that you can try to steal it or use it, is a great resource. If you're starting your own music program and you don't know what you're doing, be a part of a community, locally or otherwise, just so that you can improve your musicianship, your teachingship, for lack of a better term.
Find your local ORF chapter.
I also think stealing things there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
No,
like, if you, John, teach your lesson at your school at Casillas, my Montgomery kids don't know that lesson, I'm going to steal it. Yes. And that means I'm going to teach it like 75 times, but the kids, like, it's fresh to them, even though it might not be fresh to us. And so I think, like, reminding yourself that as you're teaching these lessons, yes, you may have taught this same song 150 times, but the kids may have only heard it 2 times or 3 times. And so just kind of remembering that and building your program is like, yeah, you might know this song and you might be sick of it at this point, but it's fresh to the kids. And so that's super important. And then, like you said, Crystal, being a part of a chapter, an ORF, a Kodai, I know
don't do it alone.
You're right. Like, I know for me, going up to the ORF meeting or the ORF trainings, that alone is material to get you at least a month, like at least. But then you talk with people, and you're able to be like, well, I could also add this extension to this lesson. It's great stuff.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I would love to move on to the Picado section.
Awesome.
So does anybody have something that they want to share?
Mark does.
All right, Mark, bring it on. Oh, Lord.
That was heard on the microphone.
I intended it to be heard.
There we go.
Okay, for those who are not watching the video, what do you got there, Mark?
I have a mouthpiece puller for brass instruments.
Oh.
That's what this is. There's a story behind this item. I'll pass it around, let you play with it.
So, wait, are we going to, before you expound, should we try to see what we can do with it first?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. There's a limit.
It's a limiting item, but so crucial.
Do you use it beyond mouthpiece removal?
No.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let's see here.
I'm not that creative.
Yes, you are, but okay. Let's see here. Zoe, if you'd like to
examine. All right. So I think I might be tempted to use it as a movement piece prop and say, can you make a similar shape?
I like that.
Yeah.
Could you expound on that for those who don't really understand?
Sure.
process?
I would take two kids and stand them next to each other and say, you have to make this shape using nothing but your bodies, so parts of this are touching and parts are separate. So how can you use your hands and your feet, and what parts of yourselves are going to touch, and how can you create the similar shape?
You saying that inspired me. So what this seems to do is push up against the mouthpiece, and then you can pull it out, correct? Mm-hmm. So similarly, how does this look like for the Laban movement? Laban he developed 8 different types of ways to move to music. So this could be a good way to showcase pressing, like the strength of pressing. So
we're like,
Yeah.
very nice.
I think playing off of Crystal's things, it could also be use of positive and negative space.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Did you have an idea? You were trying to ding it.
Yeah, I mean the little
It does have a very
movable parts.
musical ding.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a triangle or
Sugar.
yeah. I don't know.
I like.
I like too.
There's a story behind why I brought this item.
Do tell.
So I was in 6th grade, and my band director told us trumpets, don't hit your mouthpiece because it can get stuck, but it makes a fun sound.
It does make a fun sound.
And so obviously I didn't listen, so I hit my mouthpiece on my trumpet and it got stuck. I was like, uh-oh. So I went home and I was like, Dad, my mouthpiece stuck. Mr. Waldron said I have to go to the music store so they could take it out. And my dad said, no, I'm not going to take it to the music store. And so he proceeds to put my trumpet in the vise. And so my trumpet's sitting there, and he takes a pair of pliers and he goes to pull out the mouthpiece. And instead of pulling out the mouthpiece, he breaks the lead pipe. And so the lead pipe is like broken off. And so I'm like, can we go to the music store now? And so we end up going to Lee's Music, and he had to resolder the lead pipe on.
Oh, man.
And so I brought this because I tell that story every year when I'm teaching trumpets and teaching trombones. Like, if you get it stuck, I'm not angry. I want to help you, and I want to use this specific tool, because it was like a $200 fix to have to resolder it on. And it probably would have been free, or like $10 had we gone when I initially got the mouthpiece stuck. And so this is just, it's a tool that it's embarrassing to go up to your band director and be like, my mouthpiece is stuck. Because you know, like, you were hitting it
Right.
after you've been told, don't.
Yeah.
But it would have saved my dad like $180.
Yeah.
Had he just listened.
Yep.
So that's why I brought it.
All right. I like
Love
it.
that story.
I like
Cool.
it.
All right.
Well, I believe we have a round of the week.
We do.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right. So, round of the week. Am I steering this ship today?
Yes, please.
Sure,
All
yes,
right.
please.
All right, we're going to be doing Rocky Mountain High. Do you guys know this one?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Rob Ampton has a really fun process on YouTube for this one, so I encourage you to look it up. It's really great. Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain High. When you're on that Rocky Mountain, hang your head and cry. Do, 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 do remember me. Do, 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 do remember me.
Okay.
And then you can go and there's other verses. Stormy ocean, and then, yeah, it's good. So, but we'll just stick to the Rocky Mountain verse.
Thanks.
So, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain High.
Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain High.
When you're on that Rocky Mountain, hang your head and cry.
When you're on that Rocky Mountain, hang your head on a cry.
Hang your head and cry.
Hang your head and cry.
Do, 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 do remember me.
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 All right, girls against boys?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sorry, John.
We got this. Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain High. When
Rocky
you're
Mountain,
on that
Rocky Mountain,
hang
Rocky
your head
Mountain
and cry. Do,
When you're
do,
on your Rocky
do,
Mountain,
do, do remember me.
Do, 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 do remember me. Do remember me.
I like it. Very cute. All right,
Nice.
guys, where can they find us?
I am on the old Twitter machine. Twitter handle is Mr. Mr. Keehmer, Keehmer. There you'll find photos of our recently done musical, Suzical.
Nice.
Ton of fun. And lots of other things.
You can find me on the Twitterverse. My business Twitter, my educational Twitter, is MrSeligman, Mr. Seligman. And there you can find out. Recently we just finished our album. We recorded an album for the first time. So
Congrats.
we'll be showing some
Big.
small stuff regarding that. And yeah.
That's amazing. You can find me on Twitter at Ms. Kumagai, MSKUMAGAI.
You can find me on Twitter at Finny Vappa. All right, thanks for listening, you guys.
Thank you.
The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore, Jonathan Seligman, Zoe Kumagai, and Marc Keehmer. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Brian Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com. Yeah.
Hey, John, the door's right there. You're welcome to go through it if
This
you
is
need.
Crystal's place, not yours.
I was here first besides Crystal and Brian and the boys.
Boys.
He started it, okay?